Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through the notes on rotations. At the end of this, you should be able to say, I can perform rotations on and off the coordinate plane, and I can identify and distinguish between reflectional and rotational symmetry. Okay, so first thing, rotation is a rigid motion, which means, remember, it doesn't shrink or stretch. It stays the same shape. Rigid motion that turns a figure about a point, which is also called the center of rotation. Okay. For example, this triangle here is rotating about the origin, 0, 0. It's rotating about this point here, and it's rotating 90 degrees to end up in this spot here. And then it rotates another 90 degrees to end up down in this spot here. So this is actually number 1 from our assignment here. What we're going to do is we're going to complete the table for the 2 rotations shown above. So pre-image, we've got this one here. Let's see, at 3, this right here is at 310. Okay, so we'll call that, to help us out a little bit, we'll call that A. And then we also have one at negative 310. Let's call that B. And then we've got this one here at 0, 0, which we'll call C. Okay, so now it goes from 310, so this is A, which is in this bottom right over here. If you take this thing and rotate it, and here, maybe this will help you see what the rotation looks like. So we're basically taking this figure and we're rotating it like this, down 90 degrees clockwise. Okay, so again, we start here, and we're going to go 90 degrees clockwise there. On this far one over there, the last one, we're going to actually start here and go all the way around 180 degrees to that there. Okay? Okay, so again, this one in the top right here is going to rotate down, so it's going to be down here. So that's at 10, negative 3, just like it has for us there. And then B is going to be the one on the, up here, to the left of A, up here. So now it's going to be above A. So that one's at 10, positive 3. Right, and then C is all going to be, oops, that's B up here. And then C is going to be back at the same spot here, right? Because that's the center of rotation. So that one's going to stay at 0, 0. Okay, and then for this one here, again, we start with A here is in the top right. If we take that and rotate that around 180 degrees, which is, this is 90, this one was 90, this one's 180. That's going to be, this right here is going to be our A. So, you know, let's do this. Let's do double prime because it's the second one that we did. So start here, go all around there. That's at negative 3, negative 10. B is going to be this one here, which is at 3, negative 10. And then C, again, is going to be at 0, 0. And there's our, oops, one too many. There's our C. Okay, so if you'll notice here, we started at 310, and then it turned to 10, negative 3. So the Y moved to the X spot, the X moved to the Y spot, and also changed signs. So if you'll notice here, the Y moved into the X spot, and then the X moved into the Y spot, but it was the opposite sign. So here's our little key here. This tells us this is a 90 degree counter, clockwise, because clocks go this way. So that's 90 degrees clockwise, or it's also 270 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, would be the same one for this. All right, so then the image here, this one's rotating 180 degrees, so this is 180 degrees. And if we'll notice here, we started at 310, and now it's negative 3, negative 10. So the X's and the Y's stayed in the same spot, but they just ended up, they're both going to be opposite. So they're going to be, since that was positive 3, it's now negative 3. Positive 10, now negative 10. So here's our, that's what's going to always happen for 180 degree clockwise or counterclockwise, because counterclockwise or clockwise will, and 180 degrees will be this exact same spot. Okay? All right, let's look at another one here. Here's number 2. Okay, so predict the direction of the arrow after these rotations. The center of each rotation is at 0, 0. So again, we're starting here at the origin. So we're just going to try to predict. So 90 degrees clockwise. So again, if we start with this, and we're going to take it and we're going to go 90 degrees clockwise, it's going to be like that here. So if you'll notice right here is the top of the arrow. So I'm going to predict that thing's going to point to the right. Okay, and then if we go 180 degrees, the arrow should be pointing down. And then if we go 90 degrees counterclockwise, that's the opposite direction. That would be this way. So then the arrow is going to be pointing left. Okay, so 90 degrees clockwise we said was point to the right. Point right. 180 degrees, point down. Right, and then 90 degrees counterclockwise was point left. Okay, now it says draw the 3 rotations. Were your predictions correct? So let's do this in some different colors so it'll be easier to tell. So let's do the 90 degrees clockwise right here. So let's do this. Let's try to make this as easy as we can. We know that this thing's going to point to the right. And this one, right, this point up here is at 10, right? So that's going to be right here. Okay. Now, we could use our information that we had from the previous, our previous problem here. Let's just go back to that for a quick second. So if 90 degree rotation is y, it turns into y negative x, okay? So this one officially is going to be, oops, this is going to turn into y negative x, right? Starts as xy, it turns into y negative x. So again, up here, the x is 0 and the y is 10, right? So the y is 10, so that's going to be 10. And then the 0 is negative 0, so it's still the same spot here. Okay, so instead of going through and doing that for every problem, for every point, I think let's go through and we can hopefully you can see how this works, how we're just going to take this and rotate this 90 degrees. So this point here, I'm starting from this end point. I'm going to go back. Let's see, this one basically goes to the left of that point one, and then down 2. So it's going to go to, now since we've turned, the left is now up, and then down 2 is going to be down here. So there's going to be our other point. And then the other side of the point is going to just mirror image that, be like so. Right? And then it goes in a little bit, and then it goes, back 2, and then across here, and then up, and like so. So there's the 90 degree clockwise. All right, 180 degrees, that thing's basically it's basically like a reflection. It's going to reflect straight over the x-axis here. So that point is now going to be down here at 10, and again it's going to go up to over 1 each way that way to make our point, right? And then it's going to go back a little bit, and then it's going to go up there, go across, come back down here, and then across over there. And there's our 180 degrees, which is now point down. Okay, and then C, 90 degrees counterclockwise, that one's going to point to the left. So let's try that here. So now it's going this way. So instead of being at 10 up here, it's going to be 10 over here. And same idea, the point is going to be right there. So we can draw ourselves a straight line there. Another point there. There's our point. And now we have this part here. And there's our other one, our 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay? Okay, let's take a quick little comedy break before we polish off these last couple.
Whoa, he's jumping so many times.
Okay, looking at number 4 here. Describe the rotation that maps figure A onto figure B. Hint, first identify the center of rotation. So that's a pretty big thing. So let's do this. Let's find where each point goes from A to B. So that's going to be the top left. These are going to be common points here. This here is going to go to that there. And then this point here is going to rotate up to that point there. And then let's see, we've got this point down here actually maps right onto itself. So that actually right here is going to be the center of our rotation. Okay, so our center of rotation is at 1, 0. Okay, so here's our rotating about the point 1, 0. And then it's going to go 90 degrees clockwise. So clockwise is negative. So we'd say negative 90 degrees, rotate negative 90 degrees about 1, 0. Or we could say rotate 90 degrees clockwise about 1, 0. Okay? On this one here, this one is a little trickier. Got to figure out where it rotates from. And actually, if you look right down the middle of this line here, right down the middle of this line here, this point right here, if you notice, if we take this and rotate it around here, this point, it's going to rotate onto that point. And then this point will rotate about that point. And then this top point up here is going to rotate over to here. So this is our rotation point right here. So that's going to just rotate over that way. So we are going to call that, it's going to rotate, since we're going, this one's going clockwise, so it's negative. This one's going counterclockwise, so it's positive. Rotate 90 degrees about the point, and that is at 1, -2. Okay, or we can say rotate counterclockwise 90 degrees about the point 1, -2. Okay? Okay, and then this here, 11, the diagram shows the isosceles triangle ABC and puts point O inside it. Draw the following rotations and then label the images of the 3 vertices. So we're just going to do just part A, and then you're going to do B and C on your own. So this is rotate about the point O, -90 degrees. So again, if you remember, negative is clockwise. So that means we're going to rotate it this way. So this A is going to rotate about this point. So one way to look at this is, say we've got this here, and now it's going to rotate 90 degrees clockwise. So that A basically is going to end up right over here. And then this C, if we go, easier way to maybe think about it is that this whole piece here is going to rotate up over there. So then the C is going to be there and the B is going to be there. Okay, so this A is going to rotate over to here, and then the rest of the triangle is going to be over here. So there's our other 2 points. So we end up with, oops, let's make that a little nicer. So we end up with this triangle here. Not perfectly to scale, but you get the idea. So there's A prime, because that's the new one. And then this C is going to rotate up to this C prime. And then there's our B prime. And point O stays in the same spot. Okay? All right. That's all there is for the rotations notes. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in class. Thanks.